All my successful lions out there. I'm back. Yeah, man, if you saw that Hamilton video I did, check that out. Go check out the play. Very good. But speaking on, I saw the play in New York. So speaking on New York, man, just visiting New York is beautiful and awful at the same time. I'm speaking about New York, not the play. Um, it's Man, it has New York is. I haven't been to New York since 2021. It was kind of pandemic, so it was kind of um, not too many people. And before that, it was the pandemic 2020. And I usually go like once a year. So it's sporadic, different times of the year. Sometimes summer, sometimes fall, sometimes late winter, February, March. Um, because I do like that winter feel in New York. So it's kind of sporadic when I do go. Um, but yeah, man, it hasn't, it's changed, but it really hasn't changed too much. But it's been a long time since it's been back like full, like action where you can see, like, oh yeah, this is New York again. Um, but yeah, man, New York is absolutely insane. And maybe this is why people love it or like it, but it's just like shoulder to shoulder, packed with people, um, cars honking, smog, motorcycles, people yelling, people arguing, people fighting, people laughing, people crying, babies crying. It's it's a wide range of so many things happening at once where you're just like, what is going on? Your senses is always on high alert. Even though if you're just trying to have a good time, man, your senses are on very high alert of your surroundings and wanting to make it back to your home state safe. Um, yeah, and protect, the people you're with or whatever to make sure they're on point, because you can get hit by a car, you can be robbed, you can be shot, you can be drug into an alley, you know, and it's just a lot going on in a matter of, of minutes. So much stuff going on because it's so congested. Um, and it seemed like the police are very understaffed. Just from my observation of being there for the weekend, um, because you see high crowds and maybe one police officer. Um, because my friend I was with, she lived in New York for 9 years or so, and she just came back to Boston in 2020. So she was there for 9 years while it was, at its peak, from 2011 to 2020, right when the pandemic started. She came back to Boston, um, and it wasn't because of the pandemic. It was for a job opportunity, a better job opportunity. So she was there in the thick of it, and I've never noticed this, but like I said, I go sporadically on my travels to New York. It could be whenever, September, November, October, February, July. I've spent some birthdays up there sometime. Um, but yeah, they had a somewhat of, not a festival, but like merchants, vendors. So it was all up, I believe it was 6th Ave, all maybe 100 or so tents where if you have a license, you just go out and display your product. You might have a shop somewhere else in the city, but you go out there and basically display your work. So if you barbecue, you have the best barbecue. You have the best Spanish food. You have the best soul food. Um, you have dresses. You have different clothing, hats, paintings. If you do bracelets, you sell jewelry. Everything you can think of. If it's your business, you have a license, you can go out there and sell your product. So it was up and down, not like, the police blocked off each section, but it was all the way up like 6th Street, maybe hundreds of tents. I didn't get to see all of them. It was way too much. Hundreds of tents way down. So you can imagine so much traffic. If you sell fruit, we got some fruit, smoothies, I love smoothies. We had some of that. Fresh watermelon, fresh mango. Yeah, so you'll see that. But yeah, I wanted to get into some different topics of New York. Let's see. So just right now, let's see. NY crime, man stabbed in head, another man in the stomach, and 2 separate incidents in the New York train. NY crime, man shot and killed after dispute over car crash on the Cross in the Bronx. This is all last night. NYC crime, 2 dead, 1 injured after the triple shooting in the Bronx. No arrests. All right. 75-year-old suspect charged with kidnapping, sex assault of 5-year-old in New York City. Okay. And I'm not saying crime isn't everywhere. I'm just saying you got to watch your surroundings while you're in New York. And then I saw New York, this is an article, New York is full, no vacancy. It says, since last spring, roughly 100,000 asylum seekers have arrived in New York City. This is a city of migrants welcoming to immigrants, built by immigrants. People who were born abroad make up 1/3 of New York's population and own more than half of its businesses. Yet the city has struggled to accommodate this wave of new arrivals. Migrants are selling candy on the subway, sleeping on the streets in Midtown, waiting for spots in homeless shelters. Families are struggling to access public schools, legal aid, and health care. They are vulnerable to predation and violence. It is a humanitarian crisis. The city has scrambled to accommodate these new residents. But Mayor Eric Adams said that New York is officially overwhelmed. We have reached full capacity, he said bluntly at a press conference last month. We have no more room in the city. No more room in the city. And that's one thing that I knew just from my interaction, my weekend in the city. I was telling my mother, right? It was just overwhelmed with people, homelessness. Like usually in most cities, right? Homeless are out, they're doing their own thing, and you might see them when the sun starts to set, okay? So this is broad day. We landed around 3 p.m. JFK, right? We get to the hotel, travel across the city, traffic. We get to the hotel 4 o'clock. We go out. It's just a quick flight, so we go out. Still got our stuff on. We go out. I said, "Yo, let's go see these shops and see these tents, and get some merch for a couple people. NY shirts, NY hats, and stuff." So we don't have to do it tomorrow or later on tonight while we're out and lugging bags. So let's go out, see what New York has to offer for a few hours, because the Hamilton show wasn't until 8. So this is 4 o'clock. we go out, all right, and you just see homelessness on every corner. It was like really bad and really eye-opening uh, to see that, where every time I visited New York in the past, I've never seen that, and this is Manhattan. This is Times Square area. Okay, so I never really witnessed that until nighttime. You start to see them like come out, but no, this is broad day. You know, 80. It was like 85 degrees, 90 degrees, and you're seeing homeless people out in the middle of the day. I was telling my mother that there was a lady, and people that know New York sidewalks, they're kind of big, but they're doing a lot of construction. So it's like they have those barricades where the sidewalk is gone. So they just have that like tunnel of orange barricades that make it a sidewalk for you somewhat. But there's people coming this way, there's people coming north, there's people going south. So, um, you have to go to the right, stay to the right, and some people are coming up to the left. So at the end of every corner, of course, there's cars, but Sixth Ave, I told you, is kind of blocked off for the tents, right? So you go, and a lot of corners was occupied by homeless. Like, so when you go to the light and people are cutting across, right? People are cutting across, um, and you're waiting for the light. You see right by the light, there's a lot of homeless, going up to cars, asking people who's standing, please help, holding up signs, and I saw, like the article just stated, like immigrants, people that don't know English, holding up signs, I don't know English, please help. And yeah, I saw a lady, um, which I gave something to her cause, because when I'm out in these cities, over the past few years, I can't do it all, and I don't videotape this stuff. And honestly, I don't even really speak about it too much or like speaking about it, because I like my blessings to come to me. I don't like, I don't do something for praise or whatever, but I'm speaking about it. So anybody that watched my channel can be like, okay, $5, $10, $20. It goes a long way for someone who's really in need. So you really have to have, what I'm saying is, you really have to have discernment of who's who, because that can be you. That can be someone That can be your cousin, your uh, um, sister, or whatever on the street, because especially as a migrant, a lot of them are coming from uh, working and providing for their family from Miami. That was named DeSantos. He wanted to get rid of them, so a lot of them came up here. You just said 100,000. Some I think went to Texas. A lot came here. Some are in Atlanta, Virginia. I'm hearing, but a lot went up here. Imagine you being threatened, hey, you're gonna get jail time or get sent back to uh, your third world uh, home, um, if because you don't have papers or whatever. So people got on a bus and came to New York to try to make a way. So imagine, so I saw a lady. I don't know. She was Spanish descent, and she had up a sign, and she said, "Hey, please help, migrant." She had like a toddler in her hand with the sign, and like a little kid to her side, a boy, maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old. You know what I mean? And she had like her luggage and trash bag next to her. You can tell she just needed some money so her kids can eat that night, um, which, maybe the husband's somewhere else trying to get money too, so they're not in the same location. Um, but yeah, it was really sad, man, to see that, and to see that in Manhattan, like the richest part of New York. This is what is becoming an eye opener. Um, Seeing that type of stuff. Some, homeless that I saw, people, belligerent or they're on drugs and stuff like that. So you have to have your discernment and your third eye open and try to help those you see that are not looking to buy drugs or looking to buy liquor or don't have mental problems. They're looking to survive to the next day. So if you have a couple of dollars, give it to your brother or sister, man, because it could be you one day. It could be someone that you love and because the way the world's going, who knows what's going to happen. Yeah, man, I just wanted to speak about that, man. New York is definitely full. Um, it's full of, it's a melting pot for cultures, but it's a melting pot for violence. And right now, no jobs. And that's what I wanted to speak about too, the actual rent. Let me see. So I was speaking to a friend of mine too about that. New York News about rent. Rent inflation. Let's see. Says for the second consecutive year, a New York City panel that regulates the rents are for roughly 1 million rent stabilized apartments approved Wednesday some of the highest increases in a decade as inflation and rising expenses for property owners continue to aggravate the city's affordability problems. The panel known as the Rent Guideline Board voted 5-4 to raise rents on 1-year leases by 3% and on 2-year leases by 2.75% for the first year and 3.2% for the second year. It would be the second time during the tenure of Mayor Eric Adams, who appoints members of the panels and have expressed sympathies for the difficulties facing landlords, that the panel allowed stabilized rents to increase last year. It voted increases for 3.25% 1-year leases and 5% on 2-year leases. The increases this year and last year were higher than any since 2013. Roughly, did you hear that? It says the increases this year and last year alone were higher than any since 2013. Okay? Roughly 2 million people, a quarter of New York City's total population, live in rent-stabilized apartments, and no other American city has a program as vast. The system has become one of the most important sources of lower-cost housing as cost of living in New York continues to reach new heights, and it has helped retain the city's middle class. Several renters across the city, including higher earners, retired people who have lived in apartments for decades, and newcomers, says the incremental rent increases and guaranteed lease renewals that come to the rent stabilizers has helped navigate New York City chaotic and unforgiving housing markets. Advocates for tenants criticize the back-to-back rent increases as landlords influences over public policy. Property owners, on the other hand, have said they are increasingly feeling beleaguered and unable to make renting stabilized apartments financially viable. So it it's really Mr. Chen said he earns $794 a month in Social Security, but he says his half of the rent for a two-bedroom apartment is $800. So he does repairs around the neighborhood to supplement his income. You see, for some it's good if you're continuing to work, but if you're retired, um, and you only have a certain amount from Social Security, or you have, if you go to a hospital one time as an elder or older retired person, you're done. Okay, if you don't have the resources or 401k or anything like that, you're done. You're cooked. One injury, man, you gotta lay up in that hospital. You're done. You're done. You're back. You gotta go back to work to pay off the debt. So this is a wide awakening for some people too, man. Is get your finances in order. I speak about it a little bit because I'm continuing to learn as well and stack my crumbs. So I have a whole pie by the time it's time for me to retire and stuff like that. And so, yeah, man, you guys, if you guys are young watching this channel, stack your crumbs so you can make your pie. You know what I'm saying? Stack your crumbs until you make your pie, and don't take a slice until it's time. That's what it's about, man. Still live, do what you want to do, and go places, see the world, and splurge on what you feel you want to splurge on. But make sure your debts are paid and you have a cushion of emergency fund, and you continue to work on your 401k and build your portfolio, whether it's stocks or you get into real estate, etc. Man, have tangible assets, not liabilities. So that being said, man, that's my view on New York, which it's a metropolitan, and I'm sure a lot of metropolitans, even here in Boston, I can do a thing on that too, man. It's a lot of homeless that I've never seen like this at this rate before. So do what you can to help people that you see, or donate to a charity that is going to give them some type of help. Volunteer some of your time, and that sometimes is even better than money, man. Volunteer at a soup kitchen or your local church that is giving back, and that's it's not all about money. Sometimes your time can really benefit and help these people in need. So that's what I wanted to make it about, not just fear. This is about us trying to come together, man, and fix a problem, because these people in higher seats, they don't care about our problems for the lower class, the lower down the totem pole. You know what I mean? They don't give a damn. They care about their millionaire and billionaire friends. So we have to take care of each other if we can. The people that deserve it and people that are in need, that we can help and salvage. So, but yeah, man, all my successful lions out there, stay up, stay shining, stay smiling, and shine on them, man. Shine on them. I know you see it. I know you see the glow. I know you see the glow up, baby. Cheers. I love y'all, man.